Today's conspiracy theories, tomorrow's headlines. Most are still asleep and I ain't talking about no bedtime. The truth is not a Google search, you need to get your head right. The Greek goddess of illusion was called Media I'm not a coincidence theorist, I look for thread lines. Smashing every deadline, no longer smashing red wine. Though I can hear the bells chime, it feels like the end times. That probably should have been smashed on red wine, but the carnal mind is foolish. Obey and end up ghoulish. Don't get used by instinct, take control and learn to use it. Make a load of earnest music, earn a few quid, learn a few tricks. Sure, the truth is persecuted, this whole world is pure abusive. Know a bit about everything and everything about nothing. Figured out my noggin while you picture out shopping. You sit about watching while I dish it out, stop it. I don't mean to sound cocky, I'm not even proud of it. It's a second itch to me just to mean it's out honest. I don't even need to sound honest, never been about profit. Everything but out on it, you can bet your house on it. Doubt I'll be out for the count when the sounds, and I'm down for the beat, no beat down. I mean, how long's it been? Help me out. I've been the only one who's held me down. All in the mind, hell freeze now. Still sick with it, healthy how? Few bars down and the world freaked out. I don't reach out, I seek out to speak out. I'ma recount the reasons they beat out. I'm not the way, no way. I have seen the way. Speak, repeat, there's no relief.
Right on.
Ooh. Good morning, everybody. Yes, that was the intro to my podcast first. Let me know how it is, like in the comments. Man, I had a song from a man named Dean Maroney. Hey, shout out to him. Thanks for letting me use it. And I just put together a bunch of random clips. I mean, honestly, it's kind of like amateur level, but hey, whatever, dude. Everything in this world is kind of amateur level these days, if you get it. Look at the news. Anyways, look at us. Really, don't look at the news. Now, hey, welcome everybody. Good morning again. This is Queen Kush 509, and she is a cannabis cultivator from Washington State. Actually, my first cannabis cultivator interview from Washington State. So congratulations. And now I've been smoking on this flower for a couple months, and it's pretty nice, honestly. It has all the right terpenes. It has all the right natural feel. It's pretty amazing. But here, let me go ahead and let you explain a little bit more about your company, if you would, and yourself, if you could.
Mm-hmm. Hi, I'm Nicole. I've been doing this about 5 years. My husband and I own 2 farms now. We have 3 daughters. We mainly grow sun-grown, full-term outdoor, though we have 1 light dep greenhouse that we get 3 cycles out of, which is our Queen Kush brand. We have Marprod, which is our sun-grown, and we have Busty Buds that we just released this year, so we're really excited about that.
Awesome, cool. Is there a difference between the companies? I've smoked actually both of those, Marprod and Busty Buds. They're both amazing flowers. The strains are grade A. You know, honestly, they're like OG level strains. Because I mean, I smoke with people who are a little bit more OG level, and they tell me, you know, they instruct me on the genetics and the lineages, and it's pretty fascinating. So. Is there a difference particularly that you have between those companies?
Not really. You know, we just grow certain strains at Busty Buds than we do at Marprod to differentiate, but they're pretty much grown in the same method. They go directly into native soil and are just grown straight from there.
Cool. Native soil, is there anything in particular that you we are on Washington State land, so this is prime agriculture land.
Absolutely.
Are you guys near like actual like older specific fields or something that you
Yes,
know of?
our family owns quite a bit of farmland. It's been handed down for like 4 or 5 generations, wheat farmers. So we are in the middle of our main crop ag land. So it was previously a dry land wheat field.
Awesome.
Yeah, we sectioned it out and made it a weed field.
Awesome. Is there any hope of going into hemp? Maybe, you know,
No,
no, is
no.
that that's a whole nother beast. It's a whole nother beast.
Yeah, we haven't heard people having too much success with it around in our area. There's just a surplus of it.
Right. I mean, I hear you. There's a lot of hemp.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a good thing. So what strains do you have, and what strains are you working with right now?
I'm super excited. We got some new strains that we just started light stepping 4 weeks ago for our first cycle of the year. Really excited. We have layer cake, we have blueberry scone, number one stunna, raunchy runts, white runts, buckin runts, and pink lemonade.
Wow, that's a pretty fascinating menu. Um,
Hmm.
so I've heard of most of those. Are some of those actually curated by you and created by you, or are all of those from somewhere else? I haven't heard of all of those.
Yeah, no, I haven't curated any of those. They were all purchased within the 502.
Awesome. Now, are you turning these all? Are these all going to be so outdoor sun grown?
These are all in the flower greenhouse. Should be harvested in 5 weeks, so they'll be going into our Queen Kush line.
Wow, awesome. Now,
Mhm.
now that's amazing. Um, Particularly, can you break down a few of these strains? Do you know a bit more about some of these strains from reviewers that we you can talk about like what each of the rut strain is as far as hybrid and indica hybrid sativa or what the lineages are.
Yeah. These strains are all new to me. This is the first time I will be growing and flowering them. I know that the number one stunna, I did my research. It's turning a really pretty velvety purple. It is velvet crossed with rosé. So I'm really excited to see that one.
That
The
sounds
white,
amazing.
yeah, the white runs is gonna look like a sativa. It grows like super straight up, tight node structure so far. And the raunchy runts and buckin runts look pretty identical. So it'll be interesting to see the nose profile on those.
I sure love some sativa. Um, Honestly, I haven't found too great of sativas up here in the Northwest. So as
Mhm.
far as the last that I've heard in some particular cases, more sativa flower grows better down south where there's more
Mhm.
sun.
Yeah.
And then indica leaning flowers grow better in the north.
Mhm.
Um, but honestly, I would love to try the sativa out still. It sounds awesome. Sounds like a
Mhm.
really top tier strain, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be exclusively available. Our Queen Kush is only at Yakima Weed Co.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Now that's even more fascinating for my viewers at home in the local Yakima
Mhm.
Valley. Go ahead and pick you up some from Yakima Weed Co. Shout out Yakima Weed Co. By the way,
Mhm.
they run the Yakima's premium cannabis shop, and you know probably the number one Yakima Valley cannabis shop.
Mhm.
It's just honestly top tier. You go in there, all their flour is amazing, and hey,
Mhm.
to be on there, right there, it's honestly with it. Like they know good flour, and
They
that's
do.
how I got your flour. All
Mhm.
Marprod and the Busty Buzz. Yeah, they're like maybe 8 different strains. We have smoked of them so far.
Mhm. Awesome.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So, could you tell me more? Like how long? So you started for 5 years, right? Have
Mhm.
you been working on these 3 companies for like the last 5 years, or are these something new, and are you going to continue on with maybe using more oils and turning these to topicals, turning these to edibles, and getting into other brands of the cannabis market that is well within the reach of already being recreational.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we started with Marprod in 2016, and it worked well our first year. We had a really successful grow. Still learning. That was my pretty much first introduction into growing my own pot. I had one OG guy help me out and kind of show me the ropes, and then he was gone, and everything has been trial and error, research online, books, everything. And then shortly after that, we built our greenhouse, and then we started offering Queen Kush. And then just last year was our first year buying another farm and being Busty Buds. We plan to bring on a couple other brands, branch out. We recently started doing joints to offer something else. I don't know if we're going to do infused joints yet, but we're just starting out with that. We cannot do our own extraction in Adams County. They don't allow for any kind of solvent-based extraction, so we
So
can't
there's
operate.
no oil makers in Adams County?
Correct.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez, these days. Anyways, all
I
right,
know.
sorry, continue on.
Yeah, so that's what we have to offer so far, but I'm always looking to introduce something else. I just haven't found that perfect niche yet, but I'm looking. Would like to be original, unique, boutique is what I kind of started out with. I wanted to be boutique kind of cannabis with my Queen Kush brand anyways.
Right on, right on. That sounds awesome. Greenhouse is very, very nice. I've been in greenhouse many times, and it's just a nice feeling. You really get the full sense of the plants, and
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty amazing. So I've heard you along with Growcast. Is there do you use any type of farming methods that are quite unique that you could share with my viewers at home that you might be a little bit different than, you know, some of these bigger companies that just go all out with their farming methods and don't really tend to them maybe on a local scale like you might?
We do kind of a blend. As we're located in, an agriculture community, and my husband has the background of ag, we do some like big ag things where we bring the tractor in and till the ground. We've done not a cover crop, but something similar to that where we plant wheat. And then in the spring, after we've already cropped, we've done October and everything's out of the field, we'll till up the field, we'll plant some winter wheat, and then come spring, we will disc it back up in order to replace some of the nutrients that were lost. It's called replacing green matter. So we do that. That's a little different. But the rest of our cultivation is done by hand. Yeah.
Wow. So you pretty much do hand farming for most of your flowers, for everything?
Mhm.
Wow, nice, cool. That's a great thing. Machines kind of cut up a lot of stuff and kind of kill the vibe of the flower sometimes, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
So are you going to continue on with the same outdoor strains that you had? And could you share some of these outdoor strains with my viewers that you've already been growing and
Mhm. Yes, from the second year the second year of growing, we've had the same strains, but I recently decided to change it all up, which is kind of dangerous because you don't know what they're going to do outside. You could grow this plant indoors, in my greenhouse, and it can turn out fabulous, or you can grow it in a pot outside and it does fabulous. But the time that you actually put it in the soil, it doesn't take to it, and you get, as opposed to getting 13 pounds off of this plant, in the fall you only get 5. And it's a dramatic gamble deciding what you're going to put in the field. So many years I've played it safe and kept the same ones like Blackberry Bubba Kush for my indica, bubblegum for my hybrid, Jaeger for my more sativa hybrid, animal cookies hybrid, platinum animal cookies. So it's a lot of mix of hybrids or indica hybrids because it's so hard to take a sativa full term out here because of the cold snap. They need that, 10 weeks, and we don't usually get that. So this year will be a big gamble on the strains because I let go of quite a bit of those strains. So I'm kind of nervous.
And are you going to be maybe changing them up pretty soon too in the near future, or are you pretty set with what you have at the moment?
I
Because you are right. It is
Mhm,
definitely hard to find a very good strain to grow in our environment, in our
mhm.
climate up here in the north. And
Yeah.
yeah, as we know, Washington State has about 5 seasons. We got the normal 4 seasons, and the fifth
Mhm.
season is a random day every day of the year that could be
Yeah.
any type of weather.
Mhm,
So yeah, it's pretty hard. Um,
mhm,
I definitely do feel that it's really a massive touch to find that like a higher genetic strain. Are
mhm,
I really do enjoy the strains that you have right now. So some of
mhm,
these are very old lineages. I've smoked some Bubba
mhm,
Kushes, some cherry Kush, cherry pie. I mean that's a and nice medical strain too.
mhm.
Some of the blueberry, I think blueberry, nice. What are you looking for in the future?
I
And
think I think I'd
um,
like to.
yeah, what are you looking for in the future? Sorry.
I did like a small test run of blueberry scone, so I think that will kind of replace my maybe blackberry Bubba Kush. I think this year will be a change it all, and then see how it goes, and then I'll keep like mothers of my main strains, but I just won't mass produce them like I usually do in the field. So I have something that I'll trade for each one. Like for my other hybrid will probably be purple punch instead of animal cookies. Um, Trying to think of what else. I just got pancakes, and I'm hoping that one will be a really good hit outside because it's got nice fan leaf structure. So,
And what is pancakes?
I don't know the lineage of that one, but everything I've been told about it is it smells like um, it has a mapley sweet, like blueberry smell, and it's just been I've heard it's just been really, really great. So I was totally intrigued by the smell on it.
And you guys are growing in Othello, right?
Yes.
What because when you grow flowers, it also depends on the environment and the agriculture around. So what type of agriculture is around Othello, by the way?
Right around us, we have wheat. Obviously, there is seed corn. There's potatoes, um, peas, and beans, and mint. Yes, mint. Mint is quite a bit around my area. Not throughout Othello, but in my area.
Nice. So you get a lot of strong mint aromas.
Yes, yes, it's pretty
Wow.
nice.
Yeah, that wakes you up. Mint with
Mm-hmm.
your tea and cannabis tea. Ooh,
Yeah,
that's probably a good thing. Try to make some cannabis tea. That's probably a good
yeah.
idea.
Mm-hmm.
I
That is pretty good.
is that actually state legal? I've seen it. I've seen you can make cannabis coffee, so I'm sure you can make
Mm-hmm.
cannabis tea.
Yeah, I think I have seen a couple in stores. They're little tea bags.
Oh, nice. No, that would
Mhm.
be a smart idea too. There you
Mhm.
go. That's a good
Yeah,
idea.
that might be the next one.
So you said you have some infused joints. Are you actually doing that with all your strains, or is that just particularly only for your greenhouse flower?
Right now it's just our sun-grown flower, but I do believe I'd like to add the greenhouse flower into our joints and probably have them be a more premium as it is our greenhouse. More premium with either like a gold paper or flavored paper or something. I haven't quite figured it out
So
yet.
what do you infuse them with if you can't make your own oil?
Oh, I have it toll processed or split processed with a local farmer to Benton
Um,
County where they can extract.
oh, sweet, cool.
Hmm.
You run through some of the Benton County oil makers.
Hmm.
Cool. How's that work? Is that a tough process, and or do they?
Not
Is it
too
like
bad. It can be whether you have good relationship with people around you and can trust. It goes both ways. But I have a pretty good relationship with the processors that I work with.
right on? I mean, as far as running it through the state, is there
Mhm.
still do you have to go through some type of state like certification that allows that, and is that pretty much the tough process? Or
Yeah, I believe so, as I don't have the processor license to do that, if that's what you're asking, to make oil.
oh yes, no, so no, I'm
It's
no, I
licensed.
sometimes I see like cross cross companies like do collaborations. So I thought that's
Oh,
what I
yeah,
thought, maybe
no.
that's my fault. That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
no worries. No, it hasn't been a collaboration, though we've done collaborations in the past where I grow certain strains for the processor and then they go and process it and make it into oil, and it's just a partnership in that way. But there's no anything to do with the state and trying to do any kind of
Right
other
on. No.
processing
Okay.
additional
Cool.
stuff.
So
Yeah.
so you haven't done any collabs yet. Are you looking for any collaborations and any? Are you interested in
Mhm. Yeah,
anything in the
definitely.
market that's coming soon? Is maybe you have a little bit more in depth knowledge as far as the
Mhm.
some of the news. Is there anything that you are looking forward to changing and evolving with into the future? As far as the Safe Banking Act, is that even involved with you? Like, because I know 10 years ago, so if you were a grower at home, you could
Mhm.
sell to other medical people who just came to your house about um
Yeah.
so that, I don't know, maybe the Safe Banking Act would have helped then.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, maybe.
how do you feel about the future of cannabis?
Hmm. I'm pretty optimistic and hopeful. I think that we're finally getting enough attention to get the protection that we need, with all the retail robberies and stuff. Being able to have this safe banking act um is going to help tremendously, and I think just it being more normalized, it's coming along, and so I'm really optimistic for that. And it's like finally about damn time that they're realizing that we need these kinds of protections and agencies around us to back us up.
Right on. It's definitely well needed. It's been a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, okay, so does that even um involve you? Can't like the are you gonna be able to start banking with um are you gonna be able to start banking with banks? Like with your company?
Fortunately,
Would that help?
yeah, fortunately, as we're not a retailer, we've been able to get a bank account through certain credit unions across the state. There's only a handful of them that will take you on. Um, so we've been fortunate for that, being able to use that banking. However, the bank is not local to us. We have to drive an hour to get to the bank. And originally, when I was receiving any kind of money or moving any kind of money with my personal to the business, our personal bank threatened to shut us down if we, kept using that. The only way that you can receive money from a cannabis company is if it's your only source of income, your source of income. So that's how we're able to pay our employees with our business checking. But other than that, we're kind of not. It's not allowed. It's kind of ridiculous. I'd like to be able to bank in my town.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem at
Yeah.
all, man. They make so much regulations. It's makes
Mm-hmm.
us like go crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
in the future of the market, we'll probably see a lot more ease with the the sale and transportation of like cross state and maybe cross country and cross continent. Is that something that you might maybe hopeful for? I'm not
Yeah.
saying go Amazon on me and go do a
Right.
delivery, but hey,
Yeah.
it's probably something new that a
There's a
lot
thought.
of people might be interested in, and there might be a lot of like early investors looking out for people who look for
Mm-hmm.
cross continent or cross country marketing, because I know
Mm-hmm.
here here soon it's just going to be so common, like maybe within 5 to 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
maybe so, who knows, 5 to 15, where it's just going to
Yeah.
be worldwide, and like all the laws are
Mm-hmm.
going to be broken on it, maybe, who knows, maybe even sooner.
Yeah.
It's just changed so quickly already that we can see that
Mm-hmm.
it's going to change even faster.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. I know I have family back east in Massachusetts that came and visited the farm and wished that they could buy our stuff instead of having to buy it in their local. So I would love to be able to sell um, across states, as well as I have family in Idaho and California. It would be great. I look forward to that, as opposed to being just able to sell it to 400 retailers, and there's 700 some growers all vying for these spots in stores.
Right, right. And so now let's bring this back. So when all that comes to play, as far as your lineage is, like, are you particularly trying to do anything? Because I know these terpenes are like amazing, like the terpenes
Mhm.
on some of the blackberry cushes and the bubba cushes. Yeah, it's they're nice. Like I smoke them, and like it's raw real flower. It's not
Mhm.
all filled with pesticides, like more than 50, about 50% of the
Yeah.
flower out there in the market, which is just ridiculous.
Mhm.
So is there anything that particularly that you're like trying to go for, or that you like want to see? Because I've spoken with Heart and Soil founder
Mhm.
Brett, and he likes to go for land races. And
Mhm.
it's definitely a good thing to really get yourself involved in like a certain um pathway in the market. Like, is
Right.
there anything that you're particularly going for, and is there anything
Mhm.
that you're like a path that you're trying to carve, or is it kind of just like you're trying to go with the flow? Because either way,
Mhm.
it's an awesome company, an awesome flower. I just want to know a bit more,
Thank
and
you.
share with the viewers. That way they can get a little bit more of a feel
Mhm.
with the little bit inside of trading and of cannabis growing.
Mhm. I appreciate that. As for finding certain like land races, you really only you're stuck to finding somebody else in the 502 community who has it and is willing to sell you, trade you these strains. So I look for connections all across the state, and I've made some really really good partnerships with other growers in trading and cultivating and really developing some of the strains, and stay in touch with people who brought in seeds that they can, from who knows, the 80s, the 90s, 2000s. They've been collecting them along the way because they were former growers, as I was not. So I try to keep in touch with these people who are growing these more land races, or they have these exotic strains or strains that they've created themselves, and try to, watch them, because I don't really have the facility to be able to to find my own genetics or breed my own. I don't have that facility or necessarily that much time to dedicate to it, as I'm kind of a one-man show here. But I do plan on bringing on a brand that is dedicated to old school strains like GDP, Canasu, some of these older ones that I haven't seen too much of, but were around when I first started and had been, old school when I first started. So I'd like to do that as well as, keep my originals on the back burner and then have, like other
The real
more
OG
brand.
strains, that'd be nice.
Hmm.
OG Kush. I
Yeah.
personally love Trainwreck and some
Yes.
headbands.
Those were some of my favorites to grow.
And um like a lemon haze and those old
Hmm.
school hazes, the strawberry haze.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Those OG strains, you
Hmm.
definitely can't go wrong because
Hmm.
they definitely put on a nice, well balanced vibe where it doesn't break
Hmm.
down into a a smaller, peculiar flavor like a lot of these, names do, or some of these
Hmm.
names do, not a lot. Some of these names do. Um,
Yeah.
so the OG flavors are really, they're really the right feel, funk,
Mhm.
and grow too. Because when you grow them, OG Kush particularly, when you grow it, like it has aromas that are just like levitating, like you'll nearly
Mhm.
levitate from it, and it won't like
Yeah.
sedate you and hit you in the face the wrong way with that funky, too, maybe bitter smell, sometimes funky.
Mhm.
It's just
Yeah.
it even looks different. Like it's because the strains have had so many times in the soil over
Mhm.
the years that they've grown a peculiar look, a
Yeah.
peculiar vibe, a peculiar frequency, however we want to put it, the DNA structure. And
Mhm.
yeah, these OG strains are definitely where they're at. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that. That's definitely an A, like an A
Mhm.
grade in the market. And all
Yeah.
my viewers at home, if you see things like that, it's definitely a bonus because you're
Mhm.
not smoking no booth strain,
Right.
the strain that's gonna leave you high for like an hour. Because like sometimes these strains will leave you high for about an hour. Yeah, they
Mhm.
taste good, they hit you, but like you just kind of need to smoke them a little bit more,
Mhm.
and you don't need to do that with all the strains that are out
Right.
there. Well, when you have some OG strains that have had time to really get the nice DNA cultivation over the years, you
Mhm.
get a strong high that's been able to be that way for many years. People
Mhm.
smoke it over and over because like they know that it's an older strain that people love to curate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is OG Kush common? As far as an
I haven't
older,
seen it in a
like an
long time.
heirloom OG Kush,
Mhm. I
or
haven't
is
seen a
most of the
good one.
OG Kushes nowadays kind of
Mhm.
too mixed?
Yeah. The last time I grew it, it wasn't OG Kush. I was really disappointed when I had grown it 2 years ago, and I was like, this is not OG Kush. It didn't smell like it, didn't taste like it, didn't grow like it. So you got to be careful out there. Like I know that it's going to take me a bit to build up my OG strain, bank here because it took me 2.5 years just to get cherry pie. The people who had it didn't want to get rid of it. They didn't want anybody else to have it. Whereas when I first came on the market, cherry pie was everywhere. Everybody had cherry pie. Everybody had Agent Orange. I
Oh
don't.
yeah, I smoked that.
Yeah, so I haven't seen those in forever. ACDC,
I
headband.
still
I
see
don't
that a
really.
little bit,
I haven't seen that in a long time. There's some
but I
headband out there, but I haven't seen that one
don't
too
see
much.
Headband or Trainwreck, and it's just so appalling because those
Yeah.
strains have a peculiar terpene mix that other
Mm-hmm.
strains don't, and it's just so rare that you find this, because now that we understand the sciences more and we
Mm-hmm.
understand the CBDs more and the terp and the cannabinoid profile,
Yeah.
like, we're really kind of getting in full understanding and um a true sight on what the human body is symbiotic with this plant
Yes.
and with nature and with this planet, and how, like, okay, some of these terpenes, look, man, some of these terpenes can heal you in certain ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a plant, they say, but it's not. It's really
Yeah.
not. And if we
Mm-hmm.
really break it down to science form, there's about like 7, maybe 10 per, different ways this plant can really go in different directions that heal you in different ways. But it's just
Mm-hmm.
a plant, they say. But it's really not, we know. So it's like one
Mm-hmm.
of the greatest medicines, right? And
Absolutely.
if we can't get train wreck or headband over here, are we really even getting it right in the valley? I would love
Yeah.
if you could bless us here in Washington State by finding that out, because
Mm-hmm.
honestly, like, I've been searching. I smoked both of those about 10 years ago, and those are just unique. I mean, my Blue Dream,
Yes.
yeah, it got me nice and creative. My Perps got me nice and chilling and just ready for bed, and you know these other flavors are nice and fruity, but there was just something different about the train wreck and headband that just like that
Mm-hmm.
just straight to your pineal gland, and nearly
Yeah.
like was right. It's nearly straight
Mm-hmm.
to your pineal gland, and wow. So is there any strains that you're kind of looking for? Any other strains that you're kind of interested, or OG strains that like are, I would maybe lost in history,
Mm-hmm.
um, that you have
Yeah.
heard of?
I haven't
Um,
seen Panama Red in a long time, like it's way old. Just some kind of like straight skunk one, skunk haze. Those would be nice to have.
I've hearing a lot about skunk. Well, people are looking for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it'll be interesting. Like I said, I'm gonna try, and it might be what I grow at Busty Buds this year. So it just depends on how many strains I can log, to be able to make it a good run of just, OG strains. Super limited. So, but I'm really excited. I've wanted to do that for over a year now. So trying to collect those. I think I have a lead on Trainwreck, and obviously I already have Cherry Pie, and I have a lead on Headband. So
Nice, nice. Um, I just recently saw a strawberry cough. I'm smoking
mhm.
strawberry fields right now. That one's pretty amazing. Can you tell me more about it?
That one I got from a 502 clone bank. It's a great indoor and outdoor strain. It grows very sativa like, and it smelled completely different wet than it did dry. It was very strawberry shortcake ish when it was wet, and then dry is super lemony, super lemony.
Hmm. What is the lineage behind it? Do you know?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I need to do a little bit more research. When I purchase them, I go by what it says, but I don't recall.
That's all right. I mean, personally, I've always been that guy in the stoner
Mhm.
session. Hey, man, what's the lineage of this? My friends are like, I don't know. Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just been me ever since
Mhm.
the first time I started smoking, maybe about 12 years ago.
Mhm.
I've been on this quest to literally smoke as many strains as I can, and
Mhm.
uh, it's pretty interesting because I'm now in a perfect place to really start actually understanding the strains and not just like
Mhm.
smoking booth strains too.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, so I kind of went from trying to just smoke as many strains to actually just trying to search for as many old strains as I can, then bring
Mhm.
it back forward. And it's a lot better that way, because when I get the seeds and when I get the smoke and when I get
Mhm.
high, it's just a much better much better high. And I'm kind of
Mhm.
learning more about cannabis history when I go for these older strains,
Yeah.
Afghan strain, Hindu strains, Bubba
Mhm.
Kushes, learning about the West Coast culture and what we've had to go through, and with OG Kush and just everything. It's a fascinating story about cannabis, and
Mhm.
I love it.
It is.
I love it.
Yeah.
So is this gonna be like a lifelong thing? Are we gonna forever see Queen Kush in Washington State reign? Because hey, as far as I can see, Washington State's never going back to being weedless. These dudes make so much money, and they love it. Everyone loves being high. Honestly, I'm pretty sure like 90% of the politicians get high. So, yeah, yeah. Is my mic still going? Hello? I think we dropped. I think you froze. All right, guys. Well, that was it. You heard a little bit about her. Hey, have a good evening, everybody. Have a good Friday. Peace out, man. That was a wonderful time, wonderful interview you had to listen to, and she offered some nice stuff about a strain. So go check them out over at Yakima Weed Co. No, I'm not affiliated with them. I just smoke their weed. It's really good. All right, hey guys, you guys have a wonderful day. I'm pretty high right now.